Neither he nor his wife had slept or chewed their food in over half a year. Kids kept you hopping. So did major crimes. He could hear the rain coming down in sheets off the roof. What a bitch of a night to be pulled out of bed. He kept 2 changes of clothes in the trunk of his take-home car. Night like this, that'd get him through the first half hour. Shit. He looked back at the bed and wished it had been the baby crying after all. 1:14 a.m. She can't see a damn thing. Her wipers are on high speed, but it makes no difference. The rain comes and comes. Bend in the road. She takes the turn a little too late and hydroplanes. She is breathing hard, hiccuping. Is she crying? It's hard to tell, but she's grateful to be alone in the dark. Easing off the gas, she steers back into the proper lane. She knows where she is going without ever telling herself. If she thought about it, then it would be a conscious decision, which would underline the fact she has a problem. Far easier to simply discover herself pulling into the parking lot of the Toasted Lab Tavern. Half a dozen other vehicles are sprinkled across the graveled lot, mostly wide cab pickup trucks. The hardcore drinkers, she thinks. You have to be hardcore to be out on a night like this. She sits in her car, gripping the steering wheel. Her mouth is filling with saliva. She is already anticipating that first sip of cold beer. For one moment, she hangs on the precipice. Go home, Rainie. Go to bed, watch TV, read a book, do something. Do anything but this. She is shaking, her entire body convulsing as she hunches over the wheel. If she goes home, she will fall asleep. And if she falls asleep, do not climb those stairs. Do not open that door. Do not peer into the gloom. She feels the darkness move inside her head. It started 4 months ago, the first few tendrils fingering the corners of her mind. Now it consumes her. She has fallen into an abyss, and she can no longer see the light. She hears a noise. Her head comes up. She sees a large figure loom ahead in the pouring rain. She grabs her gun. The drunken cowboy lurches past, never knowing how close he came to losing his ass. She sets her Glock back down in the passenger seat. She is no longer trembling. She's wide-eyed, grim-faced, a stone-cold sort of crazy, which is far, far worse. She puts her car into gear and heads back into the night. 3:35 a.m. It should have taken 50 minutes to hit Bakersville. On a night like this, with zero visibility, slick mountain passes, and driving sheets of rain, it took an hour 15. Kincaid pulled onto the lit-up site, already feeling behind the 8 ball. In the good news department, the first responders had done their job. 3 spotlights glared into the night, high-powered beams slicing through the ribbons of rain. Yellow crime scene tape roped off a decent-sized perimeter, outside of which the vehicles were starting to pile up. Kincaid noted a deputy's truck, then the sheriff's, then a slick black SUV with all the bells and whistles, which he figured belonged to the Tillamook County DA. They would need more bodies if they decided to launch a full-scale search, and they would need the forensic lab and latent prints to process the scene, but those would be his calls to make. An hour and 40 minutes after the first call out, they were still covering the basics. Did they or did they not have a crime? Most taxpayers probably like to think the police went into these situations full bore. Notify the crime lab, bring in the National Guard, call in the choppers. Yeah, well, those same taxpayers kept hacking away at the OSP's budget until Kincaid now had 3.5 detectives working for him instead of the original 14. Real-world policing meant all decisions came attached to dollar signs. For better or for worse, these days he was operating on the cheap. Kincaid pulled in behind a black Chevy Tahoe and cut his engine. No way around it. He opened his door and stepped out into the deluge. He trudged around to the trunk of his Chevy Impala, pulled out the giant plastic bin containing his crime scene kit, and ducked beneath the tape. Trooper Blaney trotted over, black Danner boots splashing through the muck. He stuck out his hand. Kincaid returned the favor. "Trooper?" "Sergeant." The Tillamook County Sheriff and a deputy had followed in the trooper's wake. Blaney made the introductions as they all stood in a rain-soaked huddle, teeth chattering, arms tight against their sides for warmth. Deputy Dan Mitchell had been the first responder. Kid was young, farming stock, but trying hard. He didn't like the look of things. The open door, headlights on, engine running. Seemed kind of Hollywood to him. So he'd called Sheriff Atkins, who hadn't been wild to be pulled out of bed on such a night, but had headed down. The sheriff was a bit of a surprise. For one thing, he was a she. That would be Sheriff Shelley Atkins to you. For another, she had a firm handshake, a no-nonsense stare, and apparently didn't feel like beating around the bush. "Look," she said. "Tom's waiting." She jerked her head toward the DA, tucked inside his SUV. "We got a search warrant for the car, and per your trooper's instructions, we've confirmed this is public land. Now, I don't know what the hell happened here, but someone left that car in a hurry, and that's a source of concern for me, so let's get this ball rolling, or there won't be anything left to find but a bunch of soggy police reports." No one could argue with that logic, so their little scrum moved toward the car. Vehicle was a late-model Toyota Camry, white exterior, blue cloth interior. The driver had pulled well over, trying to get off the road. To the left of the driver's door was the winding backwoods lane. To the right was a steep embankment leading up into a heavily shrouded forest. As the trooper had reported by phone, the driver's side door was slung wide open, tip of the door scraping the edge of the asphalt. Kincaid's first thought was that most people didn't open their doors that far. Maybe if they had really long legs, or maybe if they were loading something in and out of the car. Something to think about. From this angle, Kincaid could make out the shape of a brown leather handbag sitting in the passenger seat. "Did you check the purse?" "I picked it up," Deputy Mitchell reported, already sounding defensive. "To check for ID, you know. I mean, it just seems strange to find the car, lights on, engine running, door open wide as day. I had to start somewhere." "Did you find a wallet?" "No, sir. But then I opened the glove compartment and found the vehicle registration. I pulled the name off that." "Purse was empty?" "No, sir. Lots of stuff in the purse. Cosmetics, pens, PDA, etc. But I didn't see anything that looked like a wallet. I placed the purse back just how I found it. Swear to God, I touched nothing else." "Except the glove compartment," Kincaid said. But he wasn't really angry. The deputy was right. You had to start somewhere. "Owner a woman?" "According to the registration," Trooper Blaney said. "Rainie Conner from Bakersville. Sheriff Atkins sent a deputy to the address. No one answered." "Do we have a physical description?" "According to DMV records, she's 5'6", 120 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes." Kincaid eyed Sheriff Atkins. 5'5", she supplied. "I didn't want to touch anything just yet, but at a glance, the seat looks about right." That's what Kincaid thought, too. Seat was fairly close, about what he'd expect. He needed to check the mirrors, of course, steering column too, but that'd have to wait until after the lab rats and latent prints were done. According to Blaney, the gas tank had registered half full before he'd shut down the engine, so while they'd canvassed the local gas stations just to be safe, Lorraine probably hadn't fueled up recently. Kincaid had spent his 3 years as a trooper working along the coast. It amazed him how many of his reports had started with the discovery of an abandoned vehicle. The ocean seemed to draw people, speak to them one last time. So they'd drive out to the coast, catch that final glorious sunset, then they'd lock up their vehicle, head into the woods, and blow out their brains. But in all of Kincaid's years, he'd never seen anyone walk away from a car like this. Engine idling, wipers beating, headlights beaming. Deputy Mitchell had been right. The scene was too Hollywood. It felt wrong. "All right," Kincaid said. "Let's pop the trunk." 1:45 a.m. She has stopped paying attention. She knows this is a bad thing. Once upon a time, she was a small-town deputy, and God knows